Everyone, today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making blueberry muffins. We're also going to be adding a wee bit of lemon zest, so we're talking about zesting and adding flavour to our muffins as well. Now we're going to be using the rubbing in method and hopefully you're going to enjoy them. They're quite low in sugar, these, so there's ways that we could kind of add some decoration to them if you wanted it a bit sugary, but also means it's a wee bit of a healthier snack that you could have for breakfast. The first thing we need to do is we need to preheat our oven. Now I've already got mine on there at 180 degrees, making sure that when we're putting our stuff in the oven that it is at the constant right temperature to avoid some cake falls. Now I'm going to go through all of the kind of ingredients we need, just showing you that. Okay, 25 grams of butter, zest of 1 lemon, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 125 grams of self-raising flour, half a teaspoon of vanilla, 40 grams of caster sugar, 1 large egg, 125 ml of milk and 90 grams of blueberries. It's going to go in our dish. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to get our flour, so it's 125 grams. I'm using a scale, but if you don't have one, what you could do is you just get spoonfuls like this, so a little bit heat, and you're going to get 5 of them, so it's about 25 grams per each. After you've got your 25, we're just going to sieve that in. Now this is going to add air to our mixture if you've got a sieve. If you don't have a sieve, don't worry too much about it. Now just going to put that to the side. We can use, and then we're just going to add a wee tiny wee bit of the baking powder. Now we've already got a raising agent within our self-raising flour, but it's just to add a wee bit extra to that, so make sure you're not adding too much. It's just about 1/4 of a teaspoon and that goes in. Okay, next step is us just getting our butter and we're going to rub this in. So just put it in as it is, but get a knife and we're going to cut it into 5 pieces. Okay, it makes it easier to cut it through the flour as it doesn't stick as much, so just 5 or 6 pieces. And then we are going to do our rubbing in method. Okay, so just to kind of recap, our rubbing in method is like this. Okay, so it's like money, and that's it. So we get hands in and we're bringing up, so as much as we can out. And what we're going to be looking for is we are going to be looking for a texture that kind of resembles sand. This will take a wee while to do. Now every so often what I like to do is I just like to shake my bowl. Now we've used the rubbing method a few times, so this shouldn't be new to you. Okay, so it should look like this. There's no big lumps. We give it a shake, come to top, but I've not overly done it. I just, when I don't see any big lumps, I'm going to stop. Now the next thing we're doing is we're going to add our sugar. I actually don't have a wooden spoon at the house, I didn't realise. I do have a spatula, so I'm just going to give that a quick stir so it's all through. I'm going to add my blueberries into there. Now these are fresh ones, but if, let's say, you are using frozen ones, I know I've got some in the freezer because I like making smoothies, just use them straight from frozen, don't defrost them or anything like that, so give that a wee mix through. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are going to zest our lemon. So just need a chopping board and we need a grater, just to this up, and our lemon. Okay, now what we're going to do for zesting is we're going to use this kind of small side of the grater. Now all you really want to get is a little tiny bit off the sides of it. So all I do is I get it, I put it at the top and I go down once. Now you can see it's already going down. Now this bit here is called the pith and it's quite bitter, so we don't want too much of that in there. So we just turn it around and we go right round our lemon. Now it won't give us loads of stuff, but what we're just trying to do is get that first layer of this gonna have the lemon off, and that's what we call for zesting. If you didn't have a lemon, you could use orange. It's really optional, but it does give a wee bit of a flavour to your dish, and blueberries and lemons go really well together, so that's why we're adding it here. Okay, so you should have a wee kind of teaspoon of it. You can see I've not completely went all over my lemon, but I've done quite a lot of it, and that is going to go into your bowl alongside everything. And just kind of tidy up as you go. It just makes it a lot easier for you later on when these are in the oven. So I'm just going to put these to the side. This I might show you what to do with a wee bit later if you want to add a wee bit extra sweetness. Now, I've got my milk, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get my egg, and I'm just going to crack that into my milk. Now after you do this, make sure you don't have any lumps. This goes straight into the bin. Just like class, make sure you wash your hands after that and give them a dry. And then what we're going to do is we are going to be adding our vanilla. Now vanilla, you don't need to have it, it just adds a bit of flavour. So it says add a quarter, but to be honest I like it a lot, so I'm going to add about half. And add that into there. Okay, and that's us kind of got our wet ingredients together. And after that, I'm just going to get a wee fork, and I'm going to whisk that. Next thing we are going to do is we are going to get our dry ingredients and our wet ingredients. I'm just going to mix that lemon zest through our mixture so it's well distributed, and I'm just going to make a wee well in the middle, and I'm going to add half of my liquid, and I'm going to give it a mix. Now this is going to look a wee bit funny because it's not really like a cake mixture. It is going to be more like a batter, like as if you were making pancakes. It's in between like a cake and sort of batter. So after you've got half of it, and we're going to add the rest in here. Now I've used a large egg for my mixture. So if you haven't got that, just add a wee bit extra milk. Now I'm going to mix this for a wee while because it's all sticking together and I'm making a mess. Okay, so that we've got all the flour and the dry ingredients are going to be mixed in with our water. I say water, you know what I mean. So when it's all mixed, it should look like this, don't take very long. Okay, I'm just going to put it to the side, and then I'm going to get my muffin tin. Now if you don't have a muffin tin, you could maybe just do this in a cake and just make a big one and cut it in slices. It might just take a wee bit longer in the oven, so I'm just making sure I've got just one cupcake liner in there, I should say muffin liner. And then instead of a spoon, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use a ladle because it is, you know, quite gloopy. So I'm just going to half fill my ladle and then I'm going to add it into my cake tin. Now, really important that we try and get these as equal as we can. Just because obviously you'd be annoyed if you were the one that didn't get a big muffin and everyone else in your family did. Also, it means that you don't have one that burns and then one that's undercooked, so it just means that they kind of stay the same all the way. I'm getting a bit handsy with my portions here. Now, use up all this mixture, so this one's quite small, so I'm going to add a wee bit more. There's not enough blueberries at the top, so I'll add a few more there. This one's a bit small. So you're just really doing this by eye and making sure that they are all sort of the similar size. Mine aren't perfect. I'm going to take a wee bit of this and out there. Put it in there. Okay, Now, before they go into the oven, just give it a wee wipe. So you're not going to have less cleaning to get done. Okay. Okay, these are going to go in the oven, preheated oven obviously that you've done before, for 20 to 25 minutes. Now I'm going to put on Alexa here, she'll help me and put a wee alarm on for me. So Alexa, can you put on a 20-minute alarm? Okay, so while that's in the oven, I'm going to show you how to make some like lemon icing to kind of go over. So basically we're just using like water icing, but instead of water we're going to be adding our lemon to our mixture. So just going to squeeze it in there, and I'm just going to get a fork and sort of just squeeze out the lemon. If there's any piths that go in there, just give it a wee, take them out for me. Okay, and then the other one. This will just give it a more lemon flavour to your blueberries muffins. This is obviously not needed. So if you don't have a lemon for the first bit, obviously you don't need to do this either. And if you are wanting to have these more as a breakfast item, I would recommend we do this. Because you're going to be adding a lot of carbohydrates to your diet and lots of sugars, but as a wee treat. I like a wee bit of this. So all I'm going to do is, I'm not really measuring this because everyone's going to have different amounts of lemon juice. I'm just going to sieve in some ice and sugar. And I'm going to give it a wee stir, and then I'm going to see how much more I would need. If you put too much ice and sugar in, you should always add a wee bit of water as well, so it will just make it not so lemony, but this will be quite strong and lemony, which I personally really like. Okay, so more for me. Now again, if you don't have a sieve, don't worry, but it does mean that you're going to avoid having like big lumps coming through. See all that here, just kind of little lumps. Give it a mix again. I feel like I'm making loads of mess today. Now this could be like a glaze if you don't want to put too much in, so it would just like have a soft thing, but I'm wanting to have it so you would see the kind of yellowy white icing, so it's quite thick. Now after I've done this, because obviously we have got our 20 minutes to our check-in, this is the time that we do our dishes, so don't just sit about doing nothing. Get your dishes done so that when it comes out of the oven, you've decorated, you can eat it straight away, so you don't need to think about all your dishes you're going to have to do. So you can see I've added a lot of sugar. Now bear in mind we did not add very much to our actual muffins. This is where you are going to have your kind of added sugars in there. It's going to be quite a lot. So you can see this is getting quite thick now, which for me, this is what I'm looking for. But obviously, as I said, you could have it runnier, but this just, you know, kind of runs off. It's got that thickness to it. Now, if you had any extra lemon zest on your board, you could add this as well into there and give that a mix through. But yeah, like just our icing will be quite thick, not too many lumps, and then this is going to go on top of my muffins.